The following contains discussions of suicide and mental and emotional abuse. Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh my god, you're straight? I'm gay, so I have absolutely no standards.
Tie me up and mansplain to me already.
God.
After escaping an emotionally abusive extremist evangelical Christian cult, Ian Lightfoot went on to attend San Francisco State University, where he thrived in his new supportive environment. He excelled in his coursework and took on other responsibilities, eventually becoming an RA. At that same time, Marcus, a charming young freshman resident, was gearing up for a movie-perfect college experience, filled with fun, boys, and as little coursework as possible. But little did they both know that they would soon meet someone who would change the rest of their lives forever. So Ian, you're in college studying, you found your place, you found your community, you're hustling and bustling. At the same time, Marcus is catching up to you and he is leaving high school, going into college. Marcus, can you tell us that process and then what it was like first meeting Ian?
Going out of high school, I remember the second I graduated, I was just so excited. This summer, it seemed like that summer in between graduating high school and going off to college was the longest summer ever.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a bad way.
Oh, okay.
Because I wanted to go off to college. I wanted to leave. I wanted to be free and be wild. So it seemed like I had to wait forever. But eventually I went to college and I was so excited, about just partying, hooking up, being a college student, just being excited to have some freedom outside of, my parents' reach in San Francisco. So I was super excited, and I remember I had the most amazing freshman year. I mean, the whole year was great. I went in thinking that I was gonna, like I said, be a partier and have fun and hook up.
Be the town ho there.
Yeah. But then I walked into my dorm one night and they're working the front desk. I think it was 2 weeks into school. I walked in and I saw Ian working the front desk, and then that was it. My hoe phase was no more. I called him cute. We talked a little bit about apparently the third floor of the dorm was haunted, and so I used that as my conversation starter with him. And we started chatting a bit. He told me that I had nice eyebrows, and then I told him that his eyebrows were nice, but mine were better. And
true story.
we talked,
Yeah.
And I eventually called him cute. And then he had a boyfriend. So he didn't like that one at all.
No, I did not.
And he didn't like me for a while because I'm very persistent. If I like
Yeah, it's a good thing you're gay,
are.
Marcus, because I feel like you would be labeled toxically masculine if you weren't.
But I'm very persistent, so I didn't leave him alone. I mean, anytime I saw him, I would talk to him. Anytime I saw any of his friends, I'd talk to his friends and tell them how much I liked him. And he started to hate me because it was getting a lot.
Well, meanwhile, Marcus is doing this, and he's living in his nice fantasy of, I found a man to settle down with. Ian, what is the perspective on your end?
So my end, I was an RA, and so he was telling all of my RA friends that he liked me and how cute I was. He was making inappropriate jokes about me to them. And so all I was hearing was from all of my friends, this resident has a crush on you, this resident's crazy about you, this resident goes around talking about you all the time. I thought that he was really weird and creepy. And especially because I had a boyfriend, so I was just very turned off to the idea. And so, yeah, I didn't like him at all.
Wonderful. So then now how does this turn into Marcus being pursuing you, Ian being like, holy crap, what's this freshman, flicking him like a booger? How does it turn into Ian and Marcus we see on TikTok today?
Marcus needed tutoring in statistics, and he asked his RA if they knew anybody that could tutor in statistics. I was a statistics major, and I did not know that Marcus was the one that needed help, but his RA reached out to me and said, hey, can you help my resident? And I said, sure. So we set up a time to tutor, and we got everything set up, and then it was not until after that I found out who he was. And so I basically had to text him and be like, hey, I can tutor you, but I don't want any weird feelings. I don't want you to think that this is going to turn out into anything. And it was just really awkward.
And Marcus is like,
but
yeah,
we
you
ended up-
can think that, Ian. It's going to turn into something. I'm going to marry you. Now, Marcus, was it true that it was not premeditated, or was there premeditation in this process?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, he's like this. No, one finger behind his... No, I had absolutely no idea. I love
didn't
it.
know that Ian was the one that was gonna. Well, I actually my RA had told me that Ian was the one that was gonna tutor me, but I didn't go into it thinking like I'm gonna try to win this guy over. Honestly, I needed to get an A in a stats class, and I needed help, and
He's
so
really bad at stats.
I was gonna get help before anything, and I wasn't trying to get into a relationship with him, but we tutored one time, and then we realized that we were like best friends. We liked the same things. We could talk. We just enjoyed talking to each other, and after that one tutoring session, we hung out every single day.
And it wasn't weird.
Yeah, well,
it wasn't
Ian, were you still dating at this time, or were you single?
Yes. So my boyfriend at the time knew that we were hanging out, and he knew that we were friends. And it caused some issues, and then sometimes, I don't know, it was weird. It was like a
He's
back
very
and
hot
forth.
and cold about it.
Yeah. But it really was, like, at this point, very innocent, I think, on both of our ends. Like, Marcus and I really did just enjoy each other's company, and we like to talk about whatever. And we had a friend group. It wasn't always just us. It was, like, a group of 4 of us. Yeah, it was a weird thing, but we became best friends. My boyfriend at the time and I were always hot and cold. It was really, it was a bad situation.
Dare we say toxic?
Yes. And so we ended it, and that's Marcus and I still stayed best friends, obviously. And that's kind of when things developed, though.
When things are starting to develop, what day? Where are we in time? Month, year? Where are we? What's the date?
So we broke up in October of 2019. And then Marcus and I kind of started something in November. So the next month.
Literally November 1st.
It
was,
and so we stayed romantically involved until that February 2020 is kind of like our talking, or like our getting to know each other dating phase. And then I officially asked him on February 21st, 2020, which was, 2.5 weeks before the world shut down.
He asked me. That's how you do it. I was after him, but then he asked me.
Marcus, you won. Okay.
Yeah, he did.
Ian, I feel like we're similar in the sense of our relationships where, okay, Marcus, you won. You could have it. We're fine. Just don't get mad at me when we drop the camera in the water, okay? So, you picked me. Coming up next on Timo After Hours, the boys explain how they fought to stay together despite a pandemic and Ian's family pulling them apart.
We went from my parents' house where we could be a couple and we could like be affectionate and PDA, if you will, to going to Ian's parents where that's not allowed, and we had to sit on separate couches and act like best buds.
You have like chastity belts at night. You're like screwed into. And later, Marcus and Ian have conquered TikTok, but what's next for this budding young couple? We're about to see a person who wasn't in a cult go experience cult life, and it's going to be a very fun story, I guarantee. All this and more on the next Timo After Hours. Subscribe with push notifications on so you don't miss the video. Click the green to see the next episode in the series, purple to see the full series playlist, and blue to subscribe. Until next time, I'm Timo Bach, and keep your smile side up. If you don't want to wait to see future episodes, no need. Subscribe to Patreon now, and you can get access to all 5 episodes of Ian and Marcus' story and future content for as little as $5 a month.